So guys, welcome back to another episode of the Ian West Network. This is a product that was actually sent to me. Never heard of it up until this point. And to be honest with you, I'm glad it was sent to me because these headphones work very, very well. Gotta be honest with you guys. So let's talk about what you're getting outside the box, and then we'll break everything down a little bit later in this video. Just so you know, there are timestamps in the description for the person that wants to skip to wherever they want to go to, so you don't have to listen to me ramble all day. But anywho, these have LDAC. They actually come shipped with LDAC automatically. The setting is on the moment you take them outside of the buds. You're getting about a good 7 to 8 hours with LDAC on, but you'll get 10 hours without it. So keep that in mind when it comes to listening time. Obviously, a mixture of voice calls and things like that will lower it, but when we're talking about straight listening time, about 7 hours, 8 hours, and then, it does vary. You get about 50 hours or so in a case along with the buds, depending on whether you use ANC on or ANC off or LDAC, or depending on whatever combination that you want. Now, I haven't seen anything that said anything about a IP rating with these, so just to be safe, don't be caught in the rain. But I was outside with these even during this review, and I kind of let it hit my face, some of the water, and I don't have any issues with the buds, so they can take light water. But if you're trying to go swimming or something like that, make sure you stay away from that. Now, it does have noise cancellation. In a sense, I think it has a hybrid noise cancellation where it even has a wind reduction noise cancellation feature that works differently than active noise cancellation in different ways and cancels out certain sounds, especially if you're riding a bike or you're doing some type of training outside or jogging. It actually covers more of the wind pressure. So whatever it is that you're listening to, you won't feel that wind beating on your face, which is a really cool feature. You do have transparency mode, normal mode, ANC. You have a dedicated gaming mode. You have quite a few different things, customization inside the application. We're going to go over all those things in this video. But so far, here we go, 12mm drivers, which work very, very well. And I can honestly say that, surprisingly, these are some of the best drivers that I've heard in a long time. Outside of the companies that I normally review, like Soundcore, this will give them one hell of, I'm just going to leave that for you guys to see in this video, because so far I'm liking this headset a lot. Anyway, with that being said, let's hop on to the next section. I'm going to show you guys how to sync it. We're going to show you all the features, app features, talk quality, just all the stuff that's necessary to make sure that you have an informed video about your purchase. Also, I suggest taking a look at other people's videos, because guess what? I'm not the only one reviewing this, and it's nice to have a second opinion. With that being said, let's get into this video and not waste any more time. So this is everything that actually comes inside the box. You have this USB-C cable right here, USB-C to USB-A. Not a super long cord, but this is something that you can just plug into your computer to charge your headset if you don't want to use one of those 4, 5, or 6 foot or 10-foot cables. So that's good. You have your earbud tips right here. I almost lost my train of thought right there. It actually comes in large, medium, and small. Now, the mediums are on the buds when you first purchase them, but I switched them out for the large because I did feel like the medium tips were a little bit smaller than the average medium tips you would get for earbuds, and so the large fit me comfortably and don't have any soreness in my ear whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead and put those to the side, and these are the buds themselves. So if you look at the bottom, you have your USB-C right here. Of course, this little button right here works as a sync button. If you need to reset the buds, if necessary, you hold that button. And the case is pretty solid. I'm not sure if this is like aluminum or plastic, but this is a really solid looking case. I haven't seen one in a while like this that's just square, but when it sits up, you don't have any problems whatsoever. It says the Earfree, internationals on the top of it. I like the design. Initially, when I first unboxed these, I was like, are they really going to be that good? But yeah, turns out this is a very solid looking design. It's very stable. Now, if you do shake this case, the case will pop open, so the magnetic aspect right here isn't too strong. So if you drop these, 9 times out of 10, the buds are going to fall out of the case. But if they're inside your pocket, they won't just pop open on their own. I've been using them for well over a week, so I don't have that problem whatsoever. Now, let's take a look at the buds themselves. Right bud is right bud, excuse me. Left bud is the left bud, and there is the symbol right here for L, if you can see that clearly. And here's the symbol for R for this side right here. Let me get that glare out of the way. So if you try to place them back inside the wrong parts, it won't fit. Left will only fit in left, and right will only fit in right, so just keep that in mind. But anyway, let's look at the buds design. This is really nice looking in my opinion. I think they're cool looking. Now, granted, I think this isn't quite olive, is it? Is it more gold than olive? I'm not too sure. I never had a pair of gold buds before, but these look very, very nice in my opinion, and they feel equally as good. When it comes to the fit and the shape and how it feels in the ear, to be honest with you, I don't get any soreness inside of my ear unless I wear these for like 6 hours at a time, to be honest. And I'm actually blasting music on purpose to see how much irritation that would cause. And when I keep it at about 50 to 60% of volume, I can wear these all day at work without a problem. Though I will say it will give you some buildup in earwax like any in-earbud would, but it's pretty nice. It's a very solid looking design. And when you feel them in your hand, even with the price tag, this feels very, very premium. You can tell that they put some time into their headset to make sure that everything just works very, very well. And of course, your touch controls are on the outside right here, so you shouldn't have any problems really tapping them. Though what I will say is that just be safe, grab the bottom part when you need to take it out of your bud so you don't accidentally tap the touch aspect of this, and you do have the option to actually turn it off in the app features, which I'll show you in a little bit. But outside of that, like I said, very solid pair of buds. For anyone that gets these, they honestly look very premium when you compare them to a lot of other companies like Soundcore by Anchor, JLab, JBL. You don't normally get this quality of build with earbuds at this price point. But anyway, let's move on. Syncing these buds is super, super easy. You don't even have to take the buds outside of the case. All you do is flip the lid right here and just give it a couple seconds for the left and the right bud to communicate with one another. Now, for the person that's wondering, yes, you can use the left bud by itself. You can also use the right bud by itself, and you can also use them together naturally. That's the way they're meant to be, so you can get that full battery life and then pop them back inside the case and just use the other one. Because not everyone's going to use two buds at the same time, especially if you're at work or you're outside and you want a free air. Anyway, I gave it enough time. We're going to go ahead to the settings right here, and let me hit scan. What's going to pop up? There we go. Rose Earfree i5. That's what these earbuds are called. This is a nice name. This is actually a really nice name for these buds, and they just surprise me every time that I use them. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and tap that. As soon as you do that, it's going to go through the pairing process. I'm going to ask you to pair. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, and boom, the earbuds are currently paired. Now, for the person out there wondering how to actually pair these buds with multi-point, you will need the application that comes along with this. And unfortunately, I'll have the name of that application for you. I'm actually going to go through a section with the app features so you can go ahead and see that yourself. When you turn on the multi-point, it does switch it over to AAC SBC. You can't have that on with the LDAC setting. So that might be a turn off for some people. But for me, no big deal. These actually work in LDAC and AAC SBC pretty well, so you shouldn't have any issues with quality of sound, though it will be a little different if you decide to switch to, well, it'll be a not dramatic difference, but the quality is still there in either setting. But anyway, follow these steps right here and you'll be able to sync this without a problem. All right, guys, so there's three modes that we need to talk about. Normal mode, noise cancellation mode, and wind cancellation. That's actually a feature that this has, which is pretty cool, actually, and I'll explain that in a second. So with normal mode, pretty self-explanatory. When buses go past, when cars go past, you guys can probably hear all the background noise right now, but me using these earbuds, I can actually hear a difference while recording, and I can tell the difference between the different types of suction that it has for the ANC mode. Anyway, normal, you can hear everything. I can hear the water, I can hear the gutters, I can hear it, water going down the drains, everything. In noise cancellation mode, and this is where things start changing, I can't even hear my footsteps, though I can hear the rain that's going on outside. This is the perfect day. I'm glad it's raining so I can do this review properly. Anyway, in case you guys are wondering, yeah, it's definitely raining outside, as you can see. This is my front camera right here. Okay, so you can tell I'm definitely outside. So anyway, noise cancellation works pretty well. When I'm walking up and down the streets, I can't really hear anything. I've tried my electric scooter. I could hear the tire just a little bit spinning, but for the most part, I couldn't hear anything grinding. I couldn't tell that I was running over the pavement. It actually does a really solid job of canceling out a lot of the sound that is around me. So noise cancellation sounds very, very good in my opinion. But lastly, we have wind noise cancellation. And when you go to the application settings, which I'll show you in another part, that whenever you click on the option, there's a little tone, a woman's voice telling you which mode that you're in. And in this one, when I noticed that the wind, I don't feel it beating against my ears at all in that mode. So obviously if there's heavy winds going on, you're still going to feel the wind hitting the side of your face or the side of your earbud. But what it does is it actually lessens the pressure, so you don't hear all that whirling noise. If you're hearing earbuds, or if you're in a phone conversation, or if you're listening to music, you feel more enveloped in the music that you're listening to. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys which one to use. It's really all about your lifestyle. Personally, I use wind reduction when I'm on my scooter, so I don't feel as much wind pressure on my head anymore. But outside of that, if I'm home, I'll use active noise cancellation, which surprisingly is so strong that I had a YouTube video probably at about 20 sitting in front of my computer. And when I turned the noise cancellation on and played no music, you could faintly hear the person's voice. So the noise cancellation is pretty strong. I don't really want to compare this to AirPod Pros or anything like that, because that's a $200 and something headset. But if I did have to do a comparison, I would say that this does a very good job of isolating noise in general. And for the person out there that wants a headset like this, it will work well for you. Lastly, battery life. Forgot to talk about that. On the website, it says about 10 hours. 10 hours, 50 hours in the case total, 10 hours with the bud. So it gives you a total of 50 hours. I personally got about a good 7 to 8 hours of battery life with this headset. And that's that's because I don't just listen strictly to music. When you do talk time and when you do listening time, it cuts down your listening time drastically. So I get about 7 to 8 hours on the regular. So for the person out there, you still want to have a pretty decent long battery life. So this right here is a sound test with the earbuds themselves. For the person wondering, I am recording in a voice recorder, which picks up the actual buds themselves and nothing else. So it's not on speakerphone. This is the quality of the buds. Now, it will vary and change based on the noise that's happening around you. Obviously, if you're outside, background noise and things like that. But for right now, I'm in a quiet, disclosed location, and this is how it sounds right now. So let's move over to how it's going to sound outside. Let's say with cars going past and actual background noise. So this is going to be a voice test with the earbuds standing outside. I am outside. The rain isn't really pouring anymore like it was before earlier in this video, but there are some cars going past. As a matter of fact, a bus is about to pull up in a moment. I just want you to get an idea of how it's going to be, whether there's wind outside or people walking past, background noises and conversations and things like that, so you can get an accurate assessment of how good the microphones actually are. So we're currently in the application for the buds themselves. They're in the ear. Now I'm going to take them out for this part of the review. The seal on these buds are so strong that it's hard to hear myself speak. And believe it or not, I have it on normal mode. So when you use ANC, got to be honest with you, I don't feel much sound leakage at all when it comes to the quality of the sound. But I'm going to save that part for the actual music quality. Anyway, first thing you're going to see when you open up these buds after you sync it is that you have the left bud and you have the right bud if you're using the Earfree application. It shows you the battery life of both. Now, I do believe that if you have the buds inside of the case and you open it up, it'll show you the battery life for the actual case itself. But I'm not going to show you that right now because we're just going to go through the basic functions. So you have wind noise reduction, which is a noise cancellation feature right here. You have noise cancellation right here, and then you have transparency mode, and you have a normal mode. Now, keep in mind, when you switch between these modes, the earbuds will give you a prompt to let you know that you switch between these modes. In addition to that, which is an important one, whenever you have phone calls, it'll let you know that you have an incoming call in. It didn't tell me the names of the people, which is not a big deal, but it did actually let me know that someone was calling me, which I think is a pretty cool feature because you'll have your separate ringtone for the actual phone itself, but then the buds will just let you know that a call is incoming, so you won't hear all that music playing in your ears. Now, it does have 4 equalizer settings, which I was hoping that it had some form of equalizer that actually allows me to customize it myself. Not life or death. A lot of times with headphones, I use whatever EQ settings that are actually on the device already. So you have pop, hi-fi, rock, and light. Now, for the person out there that listens to a lot of rock music, a lot of heavy metal, death metal, things like that, my suggestion is definitely to use the rock one, which normally I don't use rock equalizers, but for video purposes, I'm just showing you how it's set up initially when you first sync the buds. But I normally have it on rock because mostly 90% of the music I listen to is rock music, and I think it does a really good job of just flushing out the instruments and playing. I shouldn't be saying this right now. I should be showing you guys in the music section, but it is what it is. We're already talking about this. But these are the 4 equalizers right here. Let me move forward. Now, when you first activate these buds, sync them, it's automatically on LDAC mode. Now, the only issue I had with LDAC was during my travels where occasionally a bud, it never disconnected, but it might break up for a moment. But LDAC gives you that quality sound. Now, you do have the option of switching this over to AAC SBC, which won't have the quality of sound won't be as good with those, but the Bluetooth connectivity I can guarantee will be a whole lot better than LDAC. But because this occasionally happens with the LDAC based on my commute, because I'm coming from like Upper Darby all the way to Center City, so there's a lot of interference depending on where you go. It's not a big deal to me. But when it came to actually using these buds for the gaming mode or gaming features with my where's that guy at? with my Steam Deck over here or my Nintendo Switch, I didn't have any issues in LDAC whatsoever. And this is the next part that makes sense to me, that you guys are definitely going to like. So it has a gaming mode right here, as you can see. And if you tap it on, it'll let you know that gaming mode is on. Sound response is faster, reduced latency. Guess what? This is a gaming mode where it actually matters on this headset. I did notice a dramatic difference in the quality of my sound. Not necessarily the music that's playing, but I just noticed that, you know, when I have it on regular LDAC without gaming mode, there were very rare occasions, like maybe once out of a week, where occasionally a music might stutter for just one quick second and then it never happens again, right? Which isn't a big deal. Nothing's perfect, but when I turn on the gaming mode, it works even better. And believe it or not, it doesn't switch back to AAC or what I say was SBC mode. It will still stay in LDAC even with the gaming mode on, which is a really cool feature. I like that. That's attention to detail. That means that they're trying to give you the best experience that you can get with this headset. And again, I've never heard of this brand, and I'm pleasantly surprised on how well this works, how just the quality of sound and just quality of features in general, and it works well. You also have the option for dual device connectivity. If you do that, it's going to automatically reset the device and allow you to be able to sync it to another device. So you do need to use these settings right here with the application in order to sync it to a secondary device. So just keep that in mind, but we're not going to do that right now. You do have custom touch settings for the left and the right side, as you can see right here. And the functions are basically lower volume, increased volume, pause and play, previous track, next track, noise cancellation control, and voice assistant. For people wondering what noise canceling control is, you have the option to switch between transparency mode, normal mode, all those different modes by, you know, pressing the touch feature, which is on the outside of the bud. As you can see right here, it's on the outside of the bud. If you go ahead to double clicks, you got the same options. If you go over to triple clicks, same options. And if you go over to long press, same exact options. And when we switch over to the right bud, again, you're going to have the same exact options as the left side. Most people, in my opinion, are probably going to customize this where they can use one bud by itself. But me, I'm not a huge fan of touch controls. I normally just use my phone. And because I'm using a Motorola Flip, most of my controls are on the outside of my screen. So it kind of makes the touch on the earbuds obsolete for me personally. But for someone else that wants it, I do want to say that the touch, for the most part, is very, very responsive. You just got to get used to the placement. And once you do that, you're good to go. What else do we have here? Lab features right here. This actually shows you control whether the earphone responds to touch operations. You have, in other words, you have the option to turn off the touches. Some people hate touch. I personally turn them off on most of the earbuds that I go through, and I don't worry about it anymore. But for that person that wants that full experience without, you know, turning on their watch to change options or having to physically turn the phone, physically turn the phone on. Don't want to physically take the phone out of their pocket to change options, which is understandable. There are times where you're in rain, you're in a situation, you're in snow, whatever it is, and you may not want to take off your glove just to be able to change your song or music or answer a phone call. The touch controls, well, technically you want to need that anyway, because the touch controls don't really work well with touch sensitive gloves. You're going to have to take it off anyway, but having to go through the extra step of going through your phone and doing that, some people don't want to do it. Just ease of access features. You have in-ear detection right here, which I love this feature. So when you take it out of your ear, it's going to connect. When you keep it in your ear, it connects. If you take it out of your ear, it disconnects. And that's a way to actually save battery life. And dare I say this, I'm going to say this. I appreciate this feature in a lot of earbuds. Originally, I didn't really care for in-ear detection, but once you start using it, you start realizing that the quality of life with in-ear detection and other features and how well it works, it meshes very well with the headset in general. And you have to ask yourself at this price point that we talked about earlier in this video, why is it that other brands don't have this feature? It's almost like some of them took away in-ear detection because they don't feel like it's important, and they just give you a basic listening experience, while other buds that are trying to come up, and you know, companies that may not be known in the United States as much as overseas, are giving you more features jam-packed. And it's like, that's why I say when it comes to Samsung or Apple, those aren't the best headphones out there. They might be the most popular headphones because of their branding, but they're not the best headphones out there. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're bad, but you can always find something that's much more affordable for either a half the price, quarter of the price, whatever it is, that has all the features that they have without breaking the bank. And right here, you have the noise cancellation touch feature. So if you do set your buds where you tap it and it changes the noise cancellation, you can have it where it goes through normal mode, transparency mode, wind mode, and noise cancellation mode. I normally keep them all on. Though transparency mode isn't something that I really care about that much, it does work well. You can hear people just fine when you have them in your ears. So it's like you're wearing nothing at all. Outside of the suction in the ears itself, you're always going to feel that. But it's a good headset. So far, the features are pretty good. It works very well. You do have the options for earphone voice language preference, which I actually have mine it says write Chinese voice data. Mine actually does it in English whenever there's a phone call or if it speaks to me, but you can change it if you want to. And outside of that, there aren't any other features outside of the firmware or upgrade. If you go over here where it says square, you have the option for like white noise, and it's like an application where the application gives you the white noise setting right here, where you can just sit back and just listen to whatever it is that you want. That's not going to be for everybody, but keep in mind, you can always download a white noise app, or if you have white noise MP3 files, whatever it is, saved to your Android device or Apple device, doesn't matter. You can just click that too, and it does a really good job of just giving you that ambiance that you want. But so far, very simple to use. I suggest download the application so you can really customize what it is that you want, because you'll get the most out of your features. And again, the app is 100% free, so you don't have to worry about actually paying for anything at all. Just in case you're wondering, the gaming experience has been great with these earbuds. As a matter of fact, I'm actually using it without the gaming mode, and it still sounds extremely flawless with low latency. I haven't had any issues really outside of it breaking up one time, and that's because I was standing pretty far away from the actual Steam Deck itself to see the distance of how good the Bluetooth was. But outside of that, I haven't had any hiccups when it comes to sound. Now, I tried multiple games. As an example, Moonscars is one of those games that's playing in the background right now. Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Elden Ring. I have done, I'm about to say Shadows of the Colossus, Lords of the Fallen, and there was one more game I can't think off the top of my head. I know it was World War Z, but it was something else I wanted to mention that has a lot of gunfire, a lot of stuff going on in the background, zombies yelling and screaming. State of Decay 2, that's what it was. Now I remember. But anyway, the point is that this works very, very, very well with those games. And again, if you're using this for strictly comfort, just listening to music, when it comes to the quality of how it feels in your ear, in addition to the quality of the music in general and just the sound effects and how it just meshes very well, and it doesn't have any lag latency from what I experienced so far, where all the notes are on key, whether I attack someone, whether I dodge, whether I jump, all the sound effects sound exactly the way it's supposed to be. If you were just hooked it up to a regular TV, you shouldn't have any issues with it in that regard at all. Music quality on this headset is very, very, very good, and I can't stress that enough. Now, I have used it on the, I believe it's called AAC and the SBC mode, which you can definitely tell that the music suffers when you switch over to that mode. But normally when you launch this Buds outside of the box, it's already automatically placed in LDAC mode, which thank God for that. So for the person out there that may use these Buds without downloading the application, you're still going to get the best quality of the music initially. But we need to talk about just the quality overall. So the bass is very good in this headset. It doesn't overpower any of the other instruments, but you can definitely tell that if an artist intends on making bass more powerful, you're going to notice that that instrument is more powerful. If they intend on making the vocals kind of overpower other aspects of the song, it feels like each individual instrument is meant to be played the way it does in professional headphones. Again, I use FL Studio. And the thing about it is, if I decide to increase the volume on a particular part of the song, a particular instrument, I want it to be more pronounced and stand out in the song. And this headset does a really good job of making the individual instruments sound very good the way, like I said, the artist intended. And I tried this with my own personal music, and I was very, very surprised, especially with the price tag of the quality that this really shows. Now, again, when I turned it up to about 80% volume, that 80% volume is louder than most people's 100% volume in some of their headsets. And granted, I did play it at 100%, but it was only for a few seconds because honestly, it's so loud that I don't really suggest that at all. And even when it goes up to 90 to 100%, the sound doesn't suffer. Believe it or not, even though the sweet spot is about 70 or 80% or so, or dare I say 60 to 70% the sweet spot for the average listener, when you turn it up, whether you're listening to rap, whether you're getting into the song, whether you're really bobbing your head, for the gummy takers out there, the people that smoke weed and all that type of stuff, I'm telling you, you're going to be enveloped with the quality of music that this headset has. Now, the only downside is that I noticed that whenever I switch between pause the song or take the earbuds out of my ear and place them back inside. Occasionally I'll get a little music stutter when it connects, but once it's connected, it's good to go, and I don't really have that problem at all moving forward. So that's the only downside to the headset. But again, when you're listening to highs, mids, when you're listening to instruments, the violins playing in the background, people, ad-lids, everything sounds super, super clear and super, super clean. And I gotta say, for anyone that listens to this headset or uses it, you're not going to have any issues with the music quality. Now, there's only one bad side to this, and that's with the multi-point. AAC and SBC, I believe, are the only modes that allow multi-point inside the application itself, where it won't actually allow you to do it with LDAC. But that's not life or death for me. This headset, if I use it for multi-point, I'm perfectly fine, even with the reduced quality of music, because it still sounds pretty good. But realistically, I'm going to just use this strictly for one particular device, probably the Steam Deck, and that's pretty much it. And I'm going to get the best quality possible, and I'm not mad at that. They really did a hell of a job with the quality when it comes to music. So in conclusion, I think that this is one of the best headsets that you can actually get for the asking price. It's not bad at all. Now, granted, there are a lot of brands out there. There's Soundcore, there's Soundpiece, there's many different brands. But this just took me out surprised. The active, I'm stuttering over here, guys. The active noise cancellation for this is very, very good. The wind noise cancellation is really, really good. And it sounds very good, especially if you're a person that you're riding a bike or you're riding a scooter or you're outside in the elements. It works very well. Normal mode, you already know what that means. It has a long battery life of 10 hours on a charge, while it does have 40 hours inside the case, which is a total of 50 hours, which is a very long time for a headset. Most headsets come with 24 hours or 32 or something like that. This is a very long headset. It has a nice, beautiful, sturdy design. I was surprised at first. I haven't seen headphones this shaped in quite some time. But when I actually started using it, I was like, oh, this feels like a premium device. For barely, it's very, very affordable. I told you the price initially in the opening of this video, well under $100. So let's be perfectly clear there. You're getting a lot for what you're asking for. It does have a gaming mode. It has multi-point. The only downside about multi-point is that you can't use it under LDAC. It will automatically switch over the codecs to SSC, and I believe SSC, AAC, I believe it's called, and SBC, I think that's what it's called. But outside of that, I don't really have anything bad to say about this. So for the person out there that listened to the section with the audio, me speaking to people outside, obviously headsets tend to pick up a lot of background noise. That's one of the reasons why I actually went outside, to kind of give you guys an accurate assessment of how it's going to sound when you're speaking to other people with the recording with the microphones. And even then, they still came out pretty clear for the most part, even though with background noise, it wasn't that great, but without background noise, it sounds phenomenal. It works with gaming mode. I think I already said that. It works with the Steam Deck. I tried it with my PC. I tried it with my Nintendo Switch. I played Call of Duty Mobile with it. I tried so many different modes, and I can honestly say that even with the preset equalizers, I don't feel like I really need a custom EQ, because the preset sounds just fine, especially the rock one when you use it for actual rock, heavy metal, and things like that. So again, for the person out there, try it. I think it's reasonably priced. I think it's affordable. Sometimes you'll get sales for these products online, especially during the time of Black Friday and Cyber Monday and things like that. And I think you'll really like this headset. Now, granted, what I will say is, because it's a holiday season, some people are going to buy Galaxy Buds and AirPods because they're like $60 or $70, which I understand. I don't expect you to pick this over that. But for that person out there looking for a headset, that has comfortability, they don't really want Samsung, they don't really want Apple, and they want to try something different that gives them the quality of sound that they truly want, I think that the Earfree i5s really do a good job of that. And I like them. I like them a whole lot. They have in-ear detection, have a bunch of different features, and you can't really go wrong with it. So anyway, that's all I pretty much got to say. I like it. Definitely put my stamp of approval on it. I understand that some people are a little skeptical because you never heard of the brand. Totally understandable. I'm not even going to question that. But this is something that was sent to me, like I talked about earlier in this video. And I'm actually glad it was, because now I have a new company to look forward to when it comes to headphones and things to order on Amazon. And, I love it. Anyway, like and subscribe like always. I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Be safe for the holidays. Peace.